Hey, what's up, witches? It's Luna, the Zen Witch, with a reading of the full moon chart for January 28th, 2021. That's a Thursday. In the Eastern time zone, that happens at 2:16 p.m. Please adjust that for your own time zone. Also know that these are transits, so it's a general weather report. And to know how it's going to affect you personally, you need to know where it's going to occur in your natal chart and what aspects it's going to make to your natal planets, if any. All right, let's jump in looking down in the bottom right corner to the elements and modes, and we see we have a strong predominance of air and a strong predominance of fixed. This gives us a really resounding Aquarius chart signature, and that's no big surprise because we have 4 planets in Aquarius in this chart. So overall, it's that Aquarian energy that we're under of the bringing in the new, bucking the status quo. How can I change? How can I update? Looking at stimulating ideas and innovating. Looking at the moon first, and if you see, I've got a chart here that doesn't have house cusps, so I don't have to try to ignore them anymore, and that makes me happy. So the moon is our focus on the full moon. It is in Leo. That means that we're going to be very emotionally demonstrative and emotionally egocentric as well. I, me, mine. Here's how I feel. And let's reiterate that and turn up the volume on it because the moon is solitary. It's by itself in a hemisphere of the chart, and not just a hemisphere, but the rest of the planets are in this pretty tight little trine here. So the moon hanging out all by itself, ignore the node, that's not a planet. Just means that the tendency is going to be to put your feelings out there, and my feelings are the most important. Listen to me, here's what I have to express, and I'm the most important one. Now, you see this big pink triangle? That's a T-square, and it's a power generator, particularly in fixed signs. Lots and lots and lots of energy that usually shows up in the form of tension, and we have to use that energy so that we can relieve that tension. The Sun-Moon opposition in Leo Aquarius is about my feelings versus your ideas, or, my ideas versus your feelings. Ideas are definitely prominent, and the sun in this chart is exactly conjunct Jupiter. So our self-expression is expansive. We really have something to put out there and express, and we really, really don't want any limitations on that personal expression. Sun-Jupiter conjunction says, kick down the fences, kick down the doors. I want to wander. And I want to wander far and wide. In Aquarius, this happens intellectually. So new ideas, this is a great time to go seek out new ideas, new information, to broaden your horizons in that way, philosophically, spiritually, in the realm of ideas and innovation. Now let's put Mars in square to that moon and in square to that Sun-Jupiter conjunction. This is what forms the T-square. We say that Mars sits at the apex, and you have a right triangle. The planet that sits at the point here is the driver of that T-square. Taking it one aspect at a time, we've already got the tension of the full moon, and now we add a Moon-Mars square, which can trigger some anger. It can make you really hot to express those emotions in a demonstrative and egocentric way. And then we have a Sun-Mars square, which is, just aggravation, aggression as far as your personal expression. And then let's look at the Mars-Jupiter square and say that we can just go way too far with this T-square. This is certainly a setup of going overboard and hanging on to it. Okay, so we're going to have to be very careful under this to be aware of how we're feeling and how we're expressing ourselves. The tendency with this is just to want to blast past any limitations that are placed on us. Any limitations could be likely to trigger an angry reaction, an emotional reaction. With the moon in Leo, even a haughty reaction. How dare you tell me that? And Can you see how this might be a little dicey under a pandemic, this need to have a new experience and to broaden our horizons and to buck the status quo and not listen to anybody's rules? Yeah. So what I'm seeing here in the context of what we're actually going through is we've just been through, in the U.S. particularly, we've been through an incredibly tense quarter since before the election. I mean, 5 years, yeah, but since before the election until the inauguration was finally accomplished peacefully, we have been through an incredible amount of stress. Now that the inauguration has happened, we're feeling a massive wave of relief. We're feeling a sense of hope. We're feeling a sense of optimism, which a Sun-Jupiter conjunction is also about optimism and hope. And with this T-square, it can be very easy to follow that sense of optimism and say, you know what, fuck it, I'm so tired of being scared and limited and in duck and cover mode that I'm going to go out and have some fun. I'm going to bust the rules. Let's just go out and see the people we haven't seen. And it could be a very dangerous situation. The surge that we're in right now is Christmas, you guys. That's what we're seeing. And they're saying that it has peaked. And now that we've got some leadership and a vaccine rollout that's actually happening, we could possibly contain this as we move forward, but it's not going to happen overnight. So we still need to hang in there. And the energy of this T-square is going to want to drag us in a different direction that is not the best direction. So let's look at how we can use this to our benefit now. I always say with the aspects, use them before they use you, okay? So how can we use this? Mars at the apex is passion and motivation. What can I do? What can I get done? And in a fixed sign in Taurus, it's looking at it over the long haul and looking at it in practical terms. So this is where we can make a plan moving forward. We can plan for how can I update my living situation? How can I update my technology, the things around me, so that I can expand my horizons, so that I can feel it's like a refreshing update. We need to refresh our surroundings. We need to make a clean sweep. We need to feel like something's been updated and renovated, and then we can, feel a little bit better about our surroundings and not so prone to just throwing caution to the wind. The Sun-Jupiter conjunction certainly gives us plenty of self-expressive energy. With the moon in Leo there, we can bring in romance, moon and Mars, romance and saucy times. If you're lucky enough to be living with a partner, you could have quite an exciting evening under this full moon. Notice that we've got Uranus up here too. That is not actually a conjunction anymore. Mars has moved past, it's separating and it's beyond 2 degrees. So that is no longer a conjunction and is not involved in this T-square. But Mars is squaring Saturn. And, it's close, in close proximity to the T-square. The Uranus-Saturn square also gives us a tendency to want to buck the status quo and to go beyond limitations and not accept anybody else's leadership or rules except our own. So what that can do, too, is give us the energy to, again, update things, but in a structured way. Uranus is innovation and updating. Saturn is structure. So again, how can we make a new plan for ourselves? Looking past the pandemic, start thinking, what do I want to be like? Who do I want to be when we come out from under this all together? And this fixed T-square is a great time to start planning that. And, think about a year's plan. Here's what I want to have accomplished by the next moon cycle. Here's what I want to have accomplished by the spring. Start planning in that way. I also want to say that this is a great setup if you want to start studying astrology. With all of this Aquarius energy that rules astrology and astrologers. So think about that. If you want to do it, please go down to my Patreon and join at the priestess level, where you will get exclusive deep dive astrological foundations content that will give you the solid ground to stand on as you start learning the very complex discipline of astrology. I also want to mention that Mars at the apex of this T-square is ruled by Venus, which is conjuncting Pluto exactly. That adds some more intensity to this T-square. So no shortage of energy here, no shortage of tension, no shortage of usable energy if you're aware of what it is and you make choices to use it. That's what we want to do ultimately, right? So I hope you found that useful. Please click like and please subscribe if you haven't already. You can shoot me a donation if you find value in this. I will see you next time on my regular unboxings and in my live streams. Until then, it's been great hanging out with you. This is Luna. Blessed be.